Okay. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me loud and clear? Is my microphone clear enough? Can you guys hear me? Testing, testing, 1, 2. Perfect, perfect. Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I decided to roll out of bed today and begin to talk about this. Good morning, everybody. We're gonna talk about this trash here. This Nordost trash. This Nordost fake Nordost Odin trash cable. That's what we're gonna do today. Okay, so I want you all to give me a thumbs up right now so that we can call on more people. I think it's important that I talk about this because the video that I made, in case you haven't seen it, where I said I got ripped off $15,000, was quite a controversial video, I must say, guys. Okay, I think that everybody is like offended and oh my god, and Jay, how could you possibly say that that cable is trash? I use it in my system successfully. It sounds beautiful, Jay. It sounds like this, it sounds like that. Here's something you guys need to know. Okay, when you are online on the forums reading about these products, this right here, okay, fake product, I always urge you to please look into who is saying these things. Is it the dude that replaced a stock power cord for this? Yes, he has a reason to say this is the most amazing power cord for $70 because he's coming from a stock power cord. Now, if he had the real thing like this, that would be a different story, right? Because now he has two different reference points. Yes? So I just feel like a lot of people out there, especially with the audio community, never bother to check references, never bother to see who is spreading these rumors about a particular item. What does that person have? Who is he or she? And when you look at the reference point, that gives you the story essentially that sets the stage for you to let you know this is an unqualified opinion from a person who is essentially saying that product X is the best product since sliced bread. Guys, again, please connect with me. When you are on forums reading garbage and you're reading what they're saying, look at their signature, check out their system, see what they've got. 9 times out of 10, these guys will have laid out their on their signature everything they own. Okay, that should tell you right there who is it that this information is coming from. When I give you information, I've been very clear about this. I live with it. You couldn't get more of a qualified opinion than what I'm giving you because I live with the good component or the bad component, and I can speak at length, which is why I do my consultation service or my website jayaudiolab.com. Now, very soon, I will be adding free content on my website to get some of you guys to hopefully visit my website and find more content that I will now be putting here on YouTube. So, very soon, I'm already in conversations as far as selecting free content for everyone to come and watch on my website. Okay. So, I want to let you guys know that those of you who are not members, I may be putting something together for you all on my website. Okay. So, guys, I'm going to tell you this. This last video, or the video, or maybe the video prior to this, where I talked about the Odin cables, I want to make sure I am looking at the camera and I'm addressing this front and center. Okay. Uh, some of you guys have been extremely harsh, and I do a I do actually a very fine job at responding to all of your comments. Okay, very good job at responding. You guys know this, all right? But I will be honest because you guys are grown adults, just like I am. I hope you're grown adults. If there's a child here, maybe this is the time to exit the room. But because you guys are grown adults, okay, I'm gonna speak to you like grown adults. You guys love to dish it out on the comments, and you guys love to go after me and love to sometimes be very harsh, right? Fine, that comes with social media. I'm okay with it. Not a problem. But when I come after you and I speak and I respond back to you, the first thing you guys do, guess what it is? Unsubscribe. Now you know why a lot of YouTubers never embark on going back and forth with you all. Because when we come back with reasonable arguments, you guys get your tails between your legs and unsubscribe. That is the truth. Now you know why a lot of YouTubers don't even bother to answer. Because if they don't answer, you guys cannot get upset. But again, because I'm very engaged with you guys, if I come back with just a perfect argument to your nasty or harsh comment, you guys unsubscribe. That's what happens. That's the reality. So I can't have a lot of discussions, grown-up discussions with some of you guys because you guys feel offended the moment I give you my point of view with actual facts, holding in my hand the product that you claim is the best thing since sliced bread. That's the reality. Okay. And so going forward, as you guys know, keep this in mind. When you dish it out to me, you can do that all day long, no problem. I can take it. You guys, I urge you to dish it out, no problem in the comment section. But if you dish it out, you got to be ready to take it back as well and make sure that you're okay taking it from me too, because it's got to be, it's a two-way street, right? So keep that in mind, okay? And this whole behavior of, oh my God, no, that's it. He brought a $2 million speaker. I'm out. This is ridiculous. I'm unsubscribing. I don't even know why people announce that they're unsubscribing. What is the point of announcing you are unsubscribing? Just unsubscribe. Just leave. That's okay. It's fine. Okay. And I'm speaking to you guys respectfully. Okay. And again, from an adult to another adult. Okay. I am telling you right now that I do not care if you want to address me and you want to be argumentative on the comment section. I encourage that behavior, but please be ready to take it when I'm ready to respond. And don't tell me that you're unsubscribing and all of this crap, because to me that's childish. If you dish it out, be ready to take it as well. Okay, that's all I'm saying. I think it's pretty fair what I'm saying here, right? Okay. Um. Okay, guys. So today I want to give you guys a little more context as to what this power cord is really about. Okay, so I'm gonna pull it up. Here it is. Okay, this is supposed to be like $70, right? This power cord, guys, right? I'm gonna tell you this. I feel like I don't know how the Chinese make this for $70. I don't know how they can do this for $70. It looks very close to the real thing. These connectors, in my opinion, are fake. They're not real Furatech. However, how can they possibly create something that looks so identical to the real thing and still be under $100 for the whole thing? These connectors, I know for a fact, are like $100. The real connectors, like $100. I don't know how they do it, but I'm gonna tell you something that when you look at it, your mind thinks, is this guy who's buying this getting scammed? Or is the guy who's buying this for $10,000 or $20,000 getting scammed? Is he the guy getting scammed? Perfect argument. I wonder who here is getting scammed out of the two. Okay, I'm going to tell you something else. You guys are very critical of cables. You guys claim that cables don't make a difference. You guys claim that, some of you guys, not all of you guys, some of you guys claim that if you measure them, there is no significant difference in terms of noise reduction, in terms of helping the presentation in any way, shape, or form. Guys, we have gone over this a million times. I even had an outlet swap and let you guys hear the differences. Okay. So cables do matter. Now, I am not here to embark on arguing with those of you who cannot hear a difference, because no matter what I say to you guys, guess what? It is not going to change your train of thought. It's not going to change your mind. So it is a moot point to argue with those of you who do not believe in cables. If you do not believe in cables, no problem. Don't spend the money. Go to Amazon, go to your local Home Depot or Lowe's and buy cables for cheap. You're happy. Hey, listen, I wish I could do that. And I could be happy like you spending $50 on cables and call it a day. Hey, I wish that I couldn't hear a difference. Oftentimes I wish I couldn't hear a difference. But the reality is I hear a difference. And it's a marked improvement, a significant difference between cheap cables and high performing cables. Another thing is, I don't make the prices. These prices are made or put together by manufacturers. So I have nothing to do with how much something costs. So don't attack the messenger and call me a fool for spending this kind of money on cables. Guys, I'm the messenger. I am buying it to try it and then report back. So to take it all against me because I'm spending money on cables is kind of like ridiculous, because I'm the one who is highlighting what others are doing. Does that make sense? That's all I'm doing. And I want to make sure that I continue to report back to you all. Okay. So I'll go ahead and circle back to what I said. Okay. When people are telling you that something makes a difference or and does not make a difference, biggest recommendation is, who is telling you this? Do they have a hidden motive? Are they a dealer for the brand? Are they not a dealer? Are they, with a high revealing system, or do they have a Best Buy system and they're saying to you that this is the best power cord since sliced bread for $75? That's all you got to do. Okay. Anyway, that's all I have to say about this topic. Let me look at the questions that you guys have for now. Thank you for liking my videos, Patriot. I appreciate it. Thank you for the support. Please, guys, do me a favor, hit that like button. We have 56 people right now. Just hit that like, thumbs up, just to get more people interested on this in this live stream today. Stefano, so you guys are always asking me, have I compared the two cables without knowing which is which? It's impossible for me to compare cables blindfolded because I am a one-man operation. I am here by myself. So I cannot compare anything blindfolded, okay? I First of all, I don't want anybody to touch my system. That's number one. I don't trust anybody touching my system. So right there, at that moment, I'm telling you right now that it's impossible. I have to know what's playing in order for me to evaluate, because I'm the one doing the legwork. So it's impossible. James, look, 20,000 for a power cord is ridiculous. As a matter of fact, if you must know, there is a power cord right now from a brand that will go nameless that is $60,000 MSRP. That's right. I did not stutter. $60,000 MSRP for a 2-meter power cord. They exist. I'm assuming somebody's buying them. So, all I'm saying is I'm not going to buy that power cord, $60,000 power cord. I would never do that. But some people do. Thank you, Amir. Thank you for the support from Turkey. Much appreciated. I'm sorry about your disaster in Turkey, man. My heart goes out to you in Turkey, Amir. Really sad to see what happened in Turkey with the earthquake, man. So sad to hear so many lives have been lost. Sean, I am going to compare both power cords. Okay, guys. So yes, okay, guys. Look, I am going to be comparing both power cords, but I have a problem. Okay, I have a problem comparing the power cords. Okay, so I'll let you know what the problem is. Number one, my Boulder amps don't take this power cord. My DAC needs 2 power cords, so that's not going to work. The only thing where this may work is on my music server or my preamplifier. I'm asking you, what makes more sense? Do you want me to use it on the music server, or do you want me to use it on the preamplifier? Me personally, I think the music server would be the smart choice. Okay, here is another thing you guys want to be aware of today. Okay, I'm going to tell you something. If all goes well, at the end of March, in approximately 6 weeks, knock on wood, in approximately 6 weeks, you are going to see the most expensive, and I have to say expensive, unfortunately, because there's no other way of saying this. You're going to see the most expensive component in the history of my lab ever, ever. This component is going to make jaws drop on the floor. I have done a lot of affordable things lately, and I will continue to incorporate them. But I am going to bring you something that will make your jaws drop in the March. You guys need to stay tuned. It will be the biggest surprise in the history of my channel. Get ready for that. End of March. It is going to be epic what you will see. I urge you to stay subscribed because nobody right now on YouTube is showing what I'm about to show you in 6 weeks. Nobody, and nobody else probably will because it is an obscene amount of money. So I will go to the top of the mountain at the end of March. Get ready for that. You will see something that will be special in 6 weeks. Thank you, David. Cable loom is important, guys. Cable loom. Let's talk about cable looms. Cable looms are so important because you begin to create synergy. Okay, and so when you do synergy, you don't have opposite forces interacting against each other. So if you have a shunyata cable here, you have my cable line over here, and then you have in the middle, a Nordost, and you're creating like spaghetti with meatballs as far as cables. You do not know which cable is doing what because there are forces that are very different interacting with each other. So what I recommend always is buy a full cable loom, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be my line, authentic audio image, although I highly recommend it. And you're about to hear it with Wilson Audio real soon. Buy a cable loom first. Then, if you want to start to explore a different power cord, USB cable, Ethernet from a different brand, you can do that because you already have the reference point of a full loom. Okay. But I always urge you do a full loom first, guys. Okay. At what price in the equipment can we begin to hear difference in cables? So I will say this to you. Look, I have a Marantz processor behind me, right? And I connected a just for fun an audio quest dragon power cord, and I can definitely hear the difference through all my speakers when I watch movies. Everything is clearer. I think that the price point has nothing to do with it as far as the components that you need to have. But of course, if you have a component that's $1,000, it doesn't make any sense to buy a $10,000 power cord, clearly, right? But what I can tell you is there isn't really like a direct, like a formula that you can go by to say your equipment needs to be this much money before you can hear a difference. All I'm saying is, I don't think you should approach it like that. I think you should trust me on this. As your components go up the ladder and you begin to spend your hard earned money on amps, better amps, preamps, and what have you, your cables need to come up as well. Trust me on this. Cables can also take away the performance that you're buying, meaning the performance of your amplifier, preamplifier source. If you have subpar cables, I can assure you, you can also knock down this performance that you are buying because you're using affordable cables. Trust me on this, guys. Believe me when I say that. Yeah, so I'm a believer. That's a good question. Okay, someone's asking about taking anti-inflammatories and changing the way the stereo system sounds. Okay, I'm gonna tell you something, and you're gonna call me crazy for this one too. Okay, but I'll say it because nobody's saying it. Okay, when you're taking medication, yes, that can sometimes affect your hearing. If you're drinking liquor, yes, you can also your hearing can get compromised. Okay, so I can tell you right now that when I am taking, for instance, as an example, and call me crazy, but if let's say if I have a headache, right, and I take a Tylenol, and then I go back and listen to music later on, and I'm feeling great, I feel more calm and collected, and I can actually hear things better. So yes, your mind and your well-being have a lot to do with the way you listen, the way you hear. Okay. So there's no doubt that if you're sick, if you have sinuses, if you have this, if you have that, your system is not going to sound good, which brings me to another very important point. If you find yourself, and you're going to do this, okay, this is going to happen to you all. If randomly one day you sit down and listen to your system and you find that, you know what, my system isn't sounding great, but why? I haven't touched a thing. I haven't done anything. I just went to bed and it was sounding phenomenal. And now this morning, something is off. Guys, it is not your system. It is your mind. It is you. It's the way you felt. It's the way you slept. It has nothing to do with your system. Okay. Your mind will play tricks on you. Believe me when I say that. You have to learn how to spot when your mind is messing with you. It happens to me, especially when listening to music. Nothing has changed, and all of a sudden, something sounds not so good anymore, even though you had the most amazing listening session the night prior. That is your system. That is not your system. That is your mind. Your mind at times, if you don't get a good night's sleep, if you just, are in pain, if you have a fever, your mind can also affect the way you listen. Okay. So that's a component, that's a factor that nobody ever talks about. And I'm telling you, there are times in which I sit here and my system is sounding like crap, and I just turn it off, pick up my keys, and go for a drive and forget about my system for the day because I know I'm not in the mood to listen to music. Okay, so when you guys are listening to your system, okay, big advice. You want me to tell you how to stop spending a lot of money? You want me to tell you how to stop spending a lot of money on your system? I'm gonna give you two advices. Number one, stop reading the magazines, stop visiting forums, stop being on YouTube following channels like mine. Yes, and I'm even smart enough to tell you to not watch my channel, okay? But that's the reality, okay? Nobody's going to be so honest here. That's one way, okay? If you want to stop changing your equipment and buying more stuff, close all doors to the audio path, to any audio ideas, to the audio industry, and then you're going to find yourself hopefully enjoying your system more. Number two, stop listening to your system when you're tired, when you're half asleep, when you're drunk, when you are sick, whatever it is. Stop listening to your system. Do not make any purchasing, any purchases when you're sick because you're not listening correctly. I'm telling you, stop. It's our mind. Our mind will play tricks with us, and it will lead us to believe that our system isn't sounding right. But guess what? If you take a break for a day or two or three and come back, all of a sudden your system sounds magical again. It's your mind, it's your state of mind, you're stressed, you have a problem at home, somebody died in the family, your mood is not right. Your mood has a lot to do with the way you listen. Okay, I can assure you of that. Yes, so our moods have a lot to do with it. um Higher amplifiers, okay, so here's a good question. Do higher amplifiers have make a difference? Higher power amplifiers, guys. Okay, so I'll say it, and I'll articulate this: the importance of more watts. Okay, look, not all watts are created equal. Number one, if you go to Guitar Center, in case you guys are not from the United States, that's like a normal brick and mortar store that sells basically like professional products for like productions. Okay, so you can go buy speakers for like parties and guitars and musical instruments. Okay. They also sell Class D amplifiers, Crown amplifiers. You can get out there and buy a 1,000 watt Crown amplifier for $1,500, right? But again, remember what I said: not all watts are created equal. The wattage has nothing to do with the quality of the watts. So you may have a 1500-watt crown amplifier get beat by a 20-watt tube amplifier, for example, because they're different watts, different sound. Now, if we are assuming that both watts, 300 watts, 500 watts, are quality watts, the 500 watt per channel typically will have better performance. If you're asking me why is it better to buy the 500 watter instead of the 300 watter? Okay. Number one is if your speakers are not highly efficient, you may want to look into the 500 watt because you need that overhead. What do I mean by overhead? Basically, that excess power that you have when you begin to crank up the volume, the amplifier stays in what's called the sweet spot for a longer amount of watts, meaning you have more usable watts where the amplifier sounds its very best. Typically, amplifiers, although they're rated at 300 watts, 500 watts, 1,000 watts, within those watts, there's only a certain amount of watts, okay, that you have where the amplifier sounds its very best, okay, where it's called it's in the zone, if you will, okay. So when you have 500 watts, you have a larger amount of quality watts than an amplifier that's 300 watts, okay. And so when you begin to crank up the volume on the more powerful amplifier, the speakers become alive sooner. You actually hear the speakers sometimes even disappear better. Those extra 200 watts allow for the speaker to essentially come alive sooner than later. Okay. And so this is why I highly recommend more powerful amplifiers. However, there are situations in which a more powerful amplifier will not sound better than the amplifier with less watts. Because I've seen it with stereo amplifiers that have, let's say, 200 watts, and then the monos 500 watts, and they sound like trash. I've seen it. So that's why it's very tricky to know what brand to buy at what price point and where is the sweet spot for each particular brand. Okay, so don't always assume that the more power you have results in better performance. That's not the case all the time, depending on the brand, as I said to you. However, as a rule, I would say try to always look for the more powerful amplifiers, even if you feel your speakers don't need it. Trust me, it will pay dividends, even if you feel the speaker that you have is efficient and you do not need to buy 500 watts per channel. Believe me, it gives you more flexibility and it turns into a far greater listening, far more pleasure. And plus, now, if you change speakers, you have an amplifier that you can continue to use in the future. Let's hit that like button, folks, please. Let's hit that like button. Joe, Joe is asking, do I ever burn out when I spend 3 or 4 days visiting an audio convention? Yes, Joe. So typically, I spent about 3 to 4 minutes in each room listening to each system, but I do take breaks between rooms to kind of refresh and reset and go back in and continue to explore what I'm listening to. Shows are, as you know, not a real indication of what a system can do, but I can tell you guys that a show should give you an idea, an approximation to things that should really pique your interest. Okay, but you're not going to make buy-in decisions at a show, okay, based on what you're hearing. Typically, it will give you a very good reference point for you to go back to your dealer and hopefully buy or listen more critically the component that really drew your attention at the show. I have no idea where the measurements are for Borison. No clue. So, guys, so at the end of the day, shows, like I said, are just for you to have a preliminary feeling on all the systems that are there. Now, if some of you guys are in the United States are attending the show and you want to meet me in person, I will be um, giving everyone 1 hour of my time on Friday and 1 hour of my time on Saturday. You guys can come into the room, okay, and basically talk to me and ask me all audio related questions, your specific system, your needs, and connect with me. Okay, it's a way of me giving back time for you guys for all the support that you guys have been giving me throughout the past 3 years. And of course, because maybe you want my crazy ass recommendations, and I'm willing to do that. Okay, so make sure that you visit room 1415 on Friday and on Saturday. I will leave the time in which I will be available, and I will be occupying that room on the description of this video. Okay. What is my take on B&W speakers? B&W speaker D4. I'm going to be talking about them pretty soon. I keep hearing a lot of great things about B&W speakers, guys. The D4 is supposed to be everything that they couldn't do with the D3. The D4 has a smoother top end. The bass is more articulate. It's supposed to just be a complete departure from their D3 series, which is a speaker that has been known in the past to be a little bit bright. So this is not the case. This is not what I'm hearing about the D4 B&W speakers. B&W speakers is absolutely, I mean, it's one of the most recognized brands in the whole world. I mean, it's like Macintosh, okay? But I haven't had the opportunity, guys, to really bring him on board, because every time I'm thinking about a new speaker, man, something else shows up that I am very curious about. And so I shift gears constantly. Problem is the B&W speakers, 800s, they need a lot of power, folks. If you are going to be playing with 50 watts of power with an 800, 801 D4, not going to make that speaker sing. You need a lot of great amplification with great damping factor, a lot of control. Those woofers are immense, very tough speakers to drive. Okay, but I have heard great things about the new D4 generation. Now, just cannot speak to you guys as far as like what's so good or what's so bad about it. I'm just saying my sources, my trusted sources, have given me positive feedback about this speaker. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay. Yeah, maybe one day B&W speakers will be on my channel, guys. I just don't know when that will be. But I think it's a speaker that will do quite well on my channel. It will draw a lot of eye. I will have a lot of eyes on my channel when I do that. Okay, definitely. My Magic OS 7s are long gone. I made a video about those. Or I installed them at a customer's, one of my clients' home, so it's already gone and long gone. There you go. So now you know. I what I have right now, guys, in my room are the Wilsons and the A5 Magicals. Okay, and you guys are going to see a shootout happen very soon on my channel of an A5 Magical versus a Sasha DAW, and I think you guys are going to be quite eager to see that. Okay, I just need to figure out, and maybe you guys can give me ideas as to what would be a control environment. What is fair? Should both of them be on spikes? Should both be on special footers? Should they be, what is it that I think they should be? What should I do to make this a very fair A and B shootout? Okay, I will be using my Boulder gear because it has plenty of power, and I think both both speakers will be, I mean, extremely good with my Boulder 3050 and 3010 and my MSB Select 2 deck. The component that got my FureTech outlet on the last video were my Boulder 3050s. That's all I did. Okay. All I did is unplug my Shonyata and I plugged my Boulder 3050s into the FureTech. That's all I did. Guys, my cartridge is repaired. It's ready to go. You guys, that's another shootout I want to do. I want to do vinyl against digital. You guys will hopefully see that soon on my channel. So I urge you to stay tuned. I just need to have the time and the bandwidth, guys, because I do work and I'm very busy with my 9 to 5. So I have to find the time to do a proper shootout between vinyl and digital. But I definitely want to do that. One thing I will say to you is this, and this is something that needs to make you guys need to be aware of. Okay, this is something that you guys really need to pay attention to. When you set up a system for a specific speaker and you change your cables and you change your router and you change whatever, every single piece is making that speaker sing. The moment you put another speaker in place, a lot of those things that you have already done may not be applicable anymore for the next speaker. It happened to me just now. I was using Magicals. I switched over to Wilson Sashas, and now I am doing changes once again to all the ancillaries behind the speaker, to all the components behind the speaker. Now I'm looking for a different power cord here, a different network switch there, moving the source somewhere else. So this is one of the biggest and most painful things when it comes to audio, is knowing that when you change a speaker, a lot of things you've already done in the past with the other speaker that you had are probably not applicable anymore with your new speaker, unless you're getting a speaker from the same brand and you're just going up the ladder. I've said it a million times, guys. Careful. If you have been working very hard tuning your system for the speaker that you currently own, and you are going to go from a beryllium tweeter to a soft dome tweeter or to a ribbon tweeter or to a panel, everything you just did, all the work you've been putting in goes out the window. You are going to, I'm telling you right now, you're going to have to start looking for another cable now, another source. The system is too bright for this new speaker. You need to start changing sources, preamplifiers, amplifiers. So be very careful when switching speakers. I'm telling you right now, unless you're staying within the same speaker line, 9 times out of 10, you are going to have to change out components. And that's something that I don't think is ever articulated anywhere on any outlet, on any magazine, anywhere. Nobody ever talks about this. We're all under the perception that changing the speaker to something else should be a drastic improvement with nothing else being changed. And I'm going to tell you right now, that is not true. Okay. This is why I always have extra cables on the sidelines. I'm going to I have my turntable now, a secondary source, because of the fact that I personally believe that there is no such thing as swapping speakers and everything else remains the same and your system sounds perfect. That's never going to be the case. Okay. Take it from me. I live with Magical right now and I live with Wilson. Okay. Two different speakers. And when I put one speaker in, I have to go back behind my room and start changing X, Y, and Z to accommodate for the new speaker. I'm telling you. So be careful when you're changing out speakers. Yes, you will have to change other components unless you're staying with the same speaker brand and you're going up the ladder. Uh what are the most realistic sounding speakers I have ever heard? That's hard to say because I think it's very subjective as far as what realistic, what that sounds like, right? So I have been impressed by panels. I've always loved panels. Always had a thing for panels. Their imaging, their mid-range, their transparency. Always loved panels my entire life. But because of my current situation in the room and not having the width, the necessary width to accommodate them, it makes it very hard for me to own panels. But I've always loved panels, and I think panels could potentially be one of the realest presentations that I have ever heard. How do people spend equipment percentage like me? It's hard to put a percentage, okay, on how you should put your budget, okay, when it comes to speaker, how you should spend your budget when it comes to your speaker. It is very, very hard, okay, because for instance, I would say the most should go, and this is debatable, okay, this is debatable. Some may say spend most of your money on the electronics, and then after that the speakers. Meaning, for example, right now I have a Sasha DAW that's $42,900 as of today, and my Boulder monos are $280,000. My preamp is 140 grand. So you see the difference, right? My speakers here in terms of MSRP, my electronics are up here. Okay, I'm getting exceptional results. But there's another camp that may say, why not make your speakers $200,000 and then your electronics $100,000? See what I'm saying? Two different camps, two different approaches when it comes to system design. I cannot really disagree with either one. I cannot disagree with either one, okay? Because I have done both and I have had exceptional results with both. But I would say if I'm starting the hobby and I'm a newbie and I really don't know what I'm doing, I would say spend the most on your speakers first. Okay? Your speakers, in my opinion, and it's hard, again, it's so hard to put formula in place when it comes to what percentage of your budget should go into the speaker. But I would say 40%, maybe 50% of your budget should be your speaker. I would say more or less. Okay. So but it can vary, guys. It's very tough to nail a percentage, okay? Because the used market is also there, which changes the whole narrative right now, right? You can find a steal of a deal on a used speaker, but remember, I'm talking MSRP prices. I think if we're talking MSRP prices, 40 to 50% should be the speaker, in my opinion, as far as your budget. After that, the amplification is next because you got to be able to drive that speaker. Okay. That's to me the muscle of the speaker. The amplification to me is next. And after that, I would say it's a toss up between the source or the preamplifier. It's really tough to say. But if it's me, I probably would go with the preamplifier and then the source. The cable should be last. And tweaks, don't get me started with tweaks. None of you guys right now should be talking about tweaks. If you are still designing your system and your system is in the in between phase, none of you guys should be doing footers or little ethernet cables or little tiny things that are just tweaks. I'm telling you, your system needs to be solid first before you do tweaks. If you're asking what is solid, you already got the amp for those speakers that you bought. You already got the preamplifier that matches that amplifier. You already have the source that you wanted, okay, and you already have the shelves, okay, that where everything is isolated. Then you can begin to do the little smaller things, fuses, footers underneath. You can begin to play. But I think your big macros need to be solid before you embark on footers. Stay away from tweaks. I repeat, stay away from tweaks. Work on the macros first, then you worry about footers and fuses. Okay? Big advice, something that I did not do in my early beginning. Okay, so I had a cartridge right now that it was a $300 cartridge, and then I put my new they installed my Sonic Labs, which is like $9,000. Guys, the difference is drastic between cartridges. I thought I was in heaven when I heard the $300 cartridge, and it was phenomenal. The $300 cartridge was amazing, guys. But then I heard the $9,000 cartridge. What changed? Clarity. The cheap cartridge sounded veiled, dark, even muffled at times. As a matter of fact, my MSB DAC completely smoked my turntable when I was using the SME cartridge or the affordable cartridge. I feel like the MSB deck sounded clearer. Okay. But when I put that $9,000 Sonic Labs signature gold cartridge back in place, it was like a veil was lifted, like a curtain came up. Everything was just clear. It was a better. There was more airiness, more organic of an organic feeling. It was just next level. I mean, the cartridge is absolutely incredible what it does to the entire turntable conversation. Is incredible, guys. Folks, hit that like button for me, please. I really do not know a lot of customers that have different speakers for different music tastes. If I'm being honest with you guys, I don't have a lot of customers that have different systems. I just don't know if it's the space or maybe I just don't know enough ballers that have multiple systems. I don't know. But for the most part, I know a lot of people with amazing systems, with one room, and everything is basically done in a spectacular way. I mean, I've seen some incredible systems, but I haven't really met many people with different systems in their house. Here's the issue with finding dealers, okay? Finding dealers that allow you to do home trials. I'm going to tell you something about that, okay? And again, if there's a dealer out there watching this, I think you guys, I'm going to speak for you guys right now, okay? So if there's a dealer out there watching this, I'm going to speak for you all right now. We have 120 people right now. Hit that like button, guys. Someone just now posted that it would be great if dealers allowed you to do in home trials. Very true. I agree with that. I agree with the fact that it would be nice if dealers gave you in home trials. The problem is, and again, I'm having an adult, mature conversation with 120 of you right now. Okay. I can be open with you guys. The problem is when you guys are asking from a dealer to come in, place the product in your home, you guys audition it, and then claim that you really didn't like it, only to go back out to the used market and buy it for a discount. To me, that's very unfair. How many of you guys agree with this? That's very unfair to do that because that's taking advantage of the dealer's time. To me, that's just wrong. And that's something that I just absolutely disagree with. If a dealer is coming to your house to loan you a product and you are floored by it and you can't even begin to think about moving forward without that component, he deserves the business. He deserves that you buy that component instead of saying, I don't want it. And then you go back out to the used market and buy it for 30% off. To me, that's just being honorable. To me is just how things should be done. But the reality is dealers cannot embark on letting you audition things because of that practice, because of what a lot of us do, which is to use them, dump it, and then go buy it on the secondhand market. And that's just wrong. I mean, that's if I was a dealer, I'd be mad. I'll be pissed. As a matter of fact, I'll be honest with you. Look, I am selling a Hagel H30 amplifier right now, right? Somebody emailed me, right? And they're asking me, hey, I'm going to be in the area. I want to take a listen. And I'm thinking, it's listed on the used market, mind you. So he says he wants to listen to the Hagel amplifier. And I'm thinking, okay, I have a problem with that because number one, I'm not a store. So I don't have a revolving door in here for people to come in and out like a normal store, right? This is my home. So this guy can come into my house. I don't know who he is. And he wants to come and listen to the amplifier to utilize my time and then probably tell me he'll think about it, leave, and then go buy it from the secondhand market. Number one, I'm not a dealer for Hagel. I'm a normal end user. I listed it online for sale, and the expectation is that if you guys or anyone else is looking for a used product online, is that you know exactly what you're looking for, which is why you're on the used market looking for something, and you're supposed to buy it, try it, and if you hate it, put it back on the used market and move on. That's how that works. But giving auditions to people that are kind of dreaming and maybe or not, I'm not a store. That's what stores are for. If what they need is seat time with a product, visit your local dealer. Go pay them for their time with you. I'm giving you a deal on a product that I'm selling. You take it or you leave it. If you want to come in and just listen to make sure it works and verify the condition, no problem. Just come in ready to buy it if all those things check out. That's what I'm saying. So there's a lot of things that are never spoken about, guys. A lot of things that you guys need to understand that are very difficult with audio. I have a lot of emails. If you visit my website, all my equipment, everything that I'm selling is listed on my website, jayaudiolab.com. Every single thing. Okay. But there's always those emails that come in, people that want to come in here and come in and take a look. What does take a look mean? You want to take a look at the condition of the product? No problem. But assuming you're coming ready to buy, not to tell me you're going to talk to your accountant and you're going to see if they allow you to withdraw the 401k or to check your finances or you're not ready until next year. That I'm not in I don't have time for that, guys. I don't have time to entertain, private parties here to see if they want to make up their mind and buy something. You see what I'm saying? So, and I'm not a dealer. So I'm giving you examples about me. I'm just a normal dude like you guys in terms of like selling stuff on the used market, right? If you have something you're selling right now, you guys, if you have something you're selling, would you want a stranger in your house and not knowing if they're actually serious and they have the money to buy? If they told you, listen, I want to come and listen, but I'm not ready until next year, what would be your response? Dude, don't even come into my house then if you're not ready until next year. Call me when you're ready, right? That's common sense. Yes. I'm not saying anything abnormal here, but there are a lot of dreamers who want to waste time, and I just don't have time. And again, I'm not a dealer. So imagine dealers, real dealers, what they go through. And this is the reality of things that you guys as consumers do not get to see. And I know some of you guys may be saying, well, I don't give a damn. I don't care. I'm sorry for cursing or whatever. But you guys need to hear this. You guys need to understand the other side as well. What happens is very tough for dealers. And it's even tough for me not being a dealer, selling to sell all this audio equipment. Okay. Is the preamp really needed if the DAC has a volume control and we only stream music? Guys, a preamplifier is needed, in my opinion. Okay, it is needed. Now, there might be some of you guys who claim that your DAC is next level and that it's the preamplifier with the amp with the DAC built inside and all of this, and that's fine. Personally, my opinion is you need a amazing preamplifier. Now, there are some DACs out there that will definitely make you question the need for a preamplifier. No question about it. I'm just saying, when you have a difficult speaker to drive, nothing replaces a well designed DAC. The DAC has the control, the volume, the juice, if you will, to wake up that power amplifier of yours and get those speakers to gallop, to start moving. I see it all the time with DACs where they don't have sometimes enough volume for your amplifiers to wake up and get going. Now, some brands like MSB, they build their amplifiers around their DAC. So they sound amazing because they have dialed their amps with their DAC. So that synergistic combination that works perfectly. But if you're building your system and you don't have MSB or you're not buying components that are matching, in my opinion, I feel like a preamplifier is almost like the heart of the system. You cannot replace it. Yes, some of you guys may be listening at low volume levels and maybe say, you know what, Jay, I listen to the music so low it don't even matter to me. Get it. You're an exception for the most part. When you sit down in front of a system, what a real preamplifier does, a DAC could never do. I articulate and I want to make sure I reinforce that. A real preamplifier's job could never be done by a DAC ever. I'm telling you right now, ever. So, what else do you guys let me see? Okay, so another thing is when it comes to the show coming up soon next week, I urge you guys to come out to the show, meet me. Really, really, really support the show, guys. It's going to be special. The weather will be beautiful. Just one day. I mean, if you can go one day, take your family, let them go to the parks, let them go to the zoo, let them go to Busch Gardens, whatever it is. Guys, one day, really, really come out there. There is going to be a couple of special um, events. One of them being the I think there's going to be a like an unveil of a new TAD speaker. The CEO of the company will be there, or the designer, the loudspeaker designer will be there. I probably will cover that. It's a private event, and I have been invited to that, so I'm probably going to be recording that and interviewing. They asked me to send my questions in advance for him because his English is limited. So yeah, so I may be coming in and just doing a nice interview and hopefully listen to this new TAD speaker that, by the way, I have heard great things about. So I'm going to hopefully cover that and bring you guys that private event and see what this new speaker is about. I've always been curious about TAD speakers. I must say, always been curious about TAD speakers. Always, guys, every single time. Always wanted to hear TAD speakers, but I haven't been able to. And what a better opportunity than to listen to their new flagship. What could be my next move to go beyond what you have already done? I will say one more time what I just said a few minutes ago, guys. I have something coming at the end of March that will blow your mind. End of March. Expect the most devastating component in the history of my lab. End of March. You're going to see something that, unfortunately, it's going to be far, far just too expensive for a lot of you guys, even for me, to be honest with you. It's taken all of my resources to put my money together to bring this component that will be front and center at the end of March. It's taken almost all of my resources to make this purchase a reality. And that will happen in about 6 weeks. I promise you, I will raise the bar one more time and I will just shock you. Your head will drop on the floor when you see what I'm about to unveil in 6 weeks. It is special. I never thought I could do this, but the stars have aligned. 2023 has been a great year so far, and I plan to keep pushing forward. And you guys will see what very few people have seen in person, let alone hear it. How many years does a quality system last? I don't know. I mean, that's a tough question. It depends on how much usage it has. Really depends. Uh, um, you guys are going to see a special speaker once again. You guys are very excited. Believe me, you are not as excited as I am, but it's taking everything out of my bank account, every resource to make this a reality. It stings, it hurts just thinking about what this product will be in about 6 weeks. But I have to do it. I owe it to myself and I owe it to you guys. And I promise you, over the next 6 weeks, we're going to keep playing with affordable stuff. And then I'm just going to drop a bomb in the middle of the room. It will be, I am paying a video editor. I may even host an event and do a live stream for this. You guys stay tuned. It's going to be epic. It's going to be wow. You'll see. You will see, guys. I am thinking about putting together a private event in here too for a few people. Once it's here, once it's dialed, once ever the room, everything, the component is perfect, you guys are going to see something special. That's all I'm going to tell you. How do I make my money? How do I make my money? I make my money by working a 9 to 5. Let me tell you how I make my money. You guys want to know how I make my money? Okay, hold on. Stop typing right now. I make my money by working a job because I need benefits, insurance, 401k, vacation for me and my family. Number one. So I work my 9 to 5. When my 9 to 5 is done, I close my laptop and I begin to film or write down on a piece of paper the ideas of the content that I may want to do next for you guys. Sometimes I'm ready and my ideas are in my head. I grab the mic, I put the camera front and center, and I begin to record. Okay, so that's what happens after. Then video editing sometimes. I embark on that or I send it to my video editor over in Hawaii. So that's basically my whole day right there. Then I have to look at the used market, trying to locate the next component that I'm trying to buy. On top of that, I have to keep updating my website. Then I have to keep responding to inquiries about consultation services or any sales from Strong Tank or my cable line authentic audio image. Okay. So I am moving in 1,000 different directions all day, every day. Okay. So if you want to know how I make my money, it's by being like an octopus. I have tentacles everywhere. I have to keep doing things. I literally rolled out of bed about 2 hours ago and I had like 10 messages, and I have to now run to UPS, drop off product, head out to my storage, pull out boxes, pack stuff, lift amplifiers off the floor, put them in boxes, get quotes for shipping. I don't stop. I really don't stop, and it's to a certain point, to a certain degree, it's beginning to affect a little bit of the dynamic between my wife and I because I have a 6-year-old daughter, and sometimes I'm absent from doing things with them because I am trying to shoot content. I'm trying to do X, Y, and Z. So to answer your question is there is so much that goes on every day in my life to do what I do. Affording the products that you guys see on my channel, guys, it isn't just sending a wire transfer or a check. Guys, it is the level of work and commitment that I have to do. The massive amount of non-stop recording, working a 9 to 5, answering emails from my boss, answering emails from you guys, setting up consultations, working late hours, shooting content, and then somehow I'm supposed to have time to sit down and listen to music. Guys, it is a huge effort. You guys cannot understand the level of work that I have to go through to afford some of this stuff. So, Teddy, you would lose your mind. And I'm going to tell you this, there are times in which I have even anxiety from being on the go constantly, to the point that I have to figure out a way to get some sort of like therapy for myself, meaning relaxing, um, try to figure out a way to meditate, because I have to be, the moment I open my eyes, my heart is racing all day long for things that I need to do. If I didn't ship a product, something broke, it arrived damaged, submit a claim with UPS or FedEx, respond to customers, answer emails. Then my daughter's in, here, my wife is here, and then do things with them too. So I have to structure my day. And to be sincere, guys, I was just telling my wife the other day, okay, and this is going to be something interesting for you all. Um, I enjoyed my system. I was driving my truck the other day, and this song came on XM, on satellite radio. And that song took me back in time to when I had my Martin Logan Neoliths in the living room. And I had no room treatment. I had everything on the floor. I had like the TV in the middle. I was jamming to music, right? And I was just telling my wife, I said, I miss those times. And she was like, why? Because when I would listen to that music, which is not audiophile music, okay, and I was in the living room, I didn't have a YouTube channel. Although I was doing a few things online, but I didn't have a YouTube channel, and everything was scattered on the floor, everything. I enjoyed it more. I had a lot more pleasure out of that. I actually really enjoy listening to music until 2 o'clock in the morning. I was absolutely floored, and I didn't care if the cables were on the floor or the components are on a stand or no stand or one stacked on top of the other. I didn't care because I was enjoying the music. Those days are long gone for me, unfortunately. Yes, Duran Duran. I used to listen to Duran Duran, all that music. The 90s. I love 90s. The 90s music I love. And I was listening and I'm like, I don't have that enjoyment. You guys always wonder, is there pleasure at the top? I got news for you, and I'm going to make a video about this. Once you get to the top, I hate to break it to you, the pleasure is actually significantly reduced. Something that you may not know. There is a lot less pleasure at the top, a lot less when it comes to the high end audio, because first of all, your options are very, very small now when you're at the top. You don't have a lot of speakers at 400, $500,000. You don't have a lot of amplifiers at $250,000. So that's kind of like what really, really is sad. Is when you get to this level, less people know about your system, less people are familiar with what you've got, and you have less people to talk to. So I feel like I had a lot more enjoyment when I was rolling with, for instance, Luxman 900U, some of the Jeff Roland gear, audio research, the Constellation affordable pieces that they had at one point, even Pass Labs. To be honest with you, like I had a lot more fun when I was at that price point. A lot more fun because I can bring a Pass Labs, I can bring a Hagel, I can bring a Luxman, and I just like had a ball like comparing them, right? Because it was fun. Now it's like, I mean, boxes arrive, and sometimes, guys, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days, I actually stumble upon the box, and I have forgotten completely that I received a box with a product inside of it because I have so many things going on. So, yeah, contrary to popular belief, there is less fun to be had when you're at the elite level. Believe me when I say that, there's a lot less fun. I do not appreciate it, Free Radical. Thank you for the comment. I appreciate you feeling that way about me. I try hard, although it is very difficult to be here doing what I do today every day, guys. But now when you're asking what I do 1,000 different things, guys, to be able to afford this stuff. I just don't go to work like a doctor, make the money, get a $80,000 bonus, and buy a product. I wish. I just don't. I have to do 10 jobs to be able to afford this. 10, 15 jobs to be able to afford this. That's the truth, guys. But I started this journey with PS Audio, Martin Logan Montes. I started this with, carry audio amplifiers, Classic Audio, the old Classic Audio amplifiers. I started with the Pass Labs 350.5, 250.5 amplification. I started this journey with cheap cables, with Kimber cable, Monster cables. I started there, guys. I really did start at the bottom. I mean, it was really, really a gradual process to get to where I am today, but it was like a decade of work, day in, day out, constantly hustling every day, guys, every day, every day. Okay, how do I feel about the new AccuFace integrated? AccuFace integrated, I'll say it again. AccuFace is absolutely overpriced in the United States. As a matter of fact, I hear that AccuFace is cheaper, way cheaper in Canada than it is here in the United States because they have two different distributions. So for me, I was very, very disappointed. Okay, with the AccuFace E800 when I had it, nothing special, nothing special. 20,000, it might be more today. To me, that was horrible. And you know what sucks is that I know Japanese brands are really, really good brands, but I was not impressed. And I think what really bugged me about AccuFace, if I'm being honest, guys, it's so overpriced in the United States. It really, really is overpriced. Same thing with another brand, Solution. Solution is way overpriced in the United States. It's way too much money. I mean, for what they are, and they're great products, but I feel Solution is very overpriced. Groove stick, you're asking me if I am not enjoying the music and I am not having fun, why do I do it at all? Well, the reason for that is number one, I am basically, my own entity, right? So I am now a brand, right? Jay's Audiolab. And so my responsibility is twofold. Number one, my responsibility is to be unbiased and buy my products myself and give you guys my opinion. And number two is also to stay, um, to make sure that I'm making progress with my business, with my brand. Does that make sense? Those are the two main things why I continue to do what I do, right? If I didn't, then if all I'm doing are losses, then I might as well just shut down the channel and continue to do my thing behind closed doors, try things on my own, and sell them on the used market. But if I'm putting time and effort, it has to be there has to be rewarding for me somehow, right? So that's the reason why I keep doing it because I have a business, I have a brand, and there is a great amount of people I didn't know. The other day, I had somebody approach me at the gym, and he told me he watches my videos, and I didn't even know. So he says he loved what I do. So it's very surprising how many people really watch me. Although my subscribership doesn't really show 100,000 subscribers, I can assure you, with 16,000 subscribers, there are many people who follow me all across the globe. Which is why I'm thinking of making it to Germany. If you are in Germany or if you're going to Munich, I am 80% sure that I will be headed to Germany, guys. Okay. I think I need to get out to Germany to the show in May because I need to discover a diamond in the rough. I am there to visit the rooms, see the extreme rooms, meet fans, and I'm also going because I want to spot a diamond in the rough, whether it be a power amplifier, a amplifier, preamp, whatever it is. I need to get out there and see something that I don't typically see in the United States. So I'm quite excited to head out to Germany. If you are going to the show, I think I will be there. Please come and say hi. I have never listened to the PS Audio speakers. I have thought about emailing PS Audio perhaps and letting them know that I am interested in bringing those speakers in the lab to see if they would even allow me to get a pair. Hey Pierre, thank you for the donation, man. I appreciate your collaboration here. Let me read your question. What is the best amp brand for B&W speaker? Out of the three that you're giving me, Macintosh has always been great with B&W, but one brand that I'd say you should look at is Class A audio sounds really good too. Um, Class A audio is great. I'd say Macintosh or Class A audio are great matches with B&W speakers. Those two, I think you can. Pass Labs should not be a bad brand either. Luxman, I'm afraid of because I think Luxman can be a little too bright with B&W speakers. Okay, I remember having the 803 D3s and a 900U, and I couldn't listen to that for more than 10 minutes. It was very bright, so I'd be very careful with Luxman and B&W. Macintosh, Pass Labs, and Classic Audio, I think, are great brands to try. As far as what I think about adding a sub in a two-channel system, the reason why I haven't done subs is because number one, I like to evaluate amplifiers full range, like my speakers full range, and be able to see if the amplifiers have bass or lack bass, right? And when I add subs, I think that gets very complicated to do. And in addition to that, I think I'm running out of space, so I don't really have the space to try subwoofers. The subwoofers you see on my channel are for my home theater only. They never get to be played with my music, my two channel. I have been thinking about bringing a an electrical breaker panel here, audiophile grade electrical panel. I have been thinking about working on my electrical a little more and doing different like wires behind the wall, like audiophile grade wires. I've been thinking about that, so that is something that has been on my radar. Random, no problem. I'll see you at the Florida Audio Expo. Yes, I still believe today Luxman 900U um M10X is the better amplifier, in my opinion, under $30,000. In case you haven't seen, Luxman posted something on Facebook, basically the M10X, okay, and at the bottom of that, you can see that they gave me a plug and they said Jay's Audiolab best amplifier under $30,000. So I'm pretty pumped to know that I showed up on Stereophiles recommended components. I actually showed up. So very nice to know that my name is showing up now on a publication, at least on Facebook. So yes, I do believe the Luxman M10X is still the best amplifier, in my opinion, that I have owned under $30,000. Okay, let me see what else. Maggie's are very hard. 3.7 eyes. I had them in the room. I just feel like you need you know what I like with Maggie's? I think Maggie's would be great with not Halo, with Parasound JC1 Plus. Parasound JC1 Plus, I think, are great with Maggie's. They have a lot of control, amazing bass. Thank you, man. Sid, I appreciate that. I wish I was at 50,000 subscribers, but anytime I am very open or raw, or I actually answer you guys in the comment section, as I mentioned earlier, some of you guys unsubscribed. You guys love to dish it out, love to throw comments at me. But when I respond and I get back to you and I say what I have on my mind, you guys just become like a dog with its tail between the legs, and you guys unsubscribe. I just sometimes I wonder if I should even be responding to the comments because it doesn't help me. When I respond a harsh comment from one of you guys, and if I come back, for instance, give you an example. This conversation we had about these cables, right? Fake and real. Some of you guys are saying that the cable sounds phenomenal. If I came back and I said, well, you say that the fake Nordost sounds unreal, but if I looked at your system is cheap. So of course, that's why it sounds unreal to you. If I said that to one of you guys, is immediately unsubscribing. They're immediately unsubscribing because they get offended. So sometimes I have to kind of be strategic about which comments I respond to, because if I say the wrong thing responding, you guys get all sensitive on me, which is ridiculous because if you're telling me something and you want to be argumentative, I have to respond back to you. Don't unsubscribe, take it. You're giving it to me, I'll give it right back to you. but sometimes I just don't think some of you guys are thick skinned to handle it. I think Focal, in my opinion, I think Focal will be updating their Evo line in the next year or two. Here's what I'm predicting, okay, in case you want to know. I think Focal is going to update their line within the next 24 months. For some reason, I just have a feeling that the Evo line has been out for a minute. Although you're going to hear different stories from dealers and other people in the industry, I just see that those Evo speakers have been out for a minute, and it's time for them to do something else. So I do think that they will eventually end up doing that. I also think that Wilson will probably unveil this year, at the end of the year, the new Sasha. I think Wilson, in my opinion, by November, December, we are going to see the new Sasha, whatever that may be. I think it's probably going to be called the Sasha V. If I can guess, I think that it's going to be called Sasha V. Sid, I am deciding. I have not decided if I'm going to Expona because I am really contemplating going to Germany. And Germany happens like 3 short weeks after that, after Expona. So I have to really think about this. Germany, I need to go for like a week. So I don't know if I'm going to go. It will be a last minute decision when it comes to Expona. My Okay, so favorite amplifiers in the $20,000 to $50,000 range for Magical S series. I like Boulder, man. I like Boulder. I mean, I know you guys keep seeing Boulder in my channel, and listen, this is not because they're sending me anything. No, I just like Boulder for Magical. I think Magical and Boulder sounds phenomenal, clear, crystal clear. I also love block audio with Magical. Block audio sounds phenomenal, phenomenal with Magical, phenomenal with Magical. Constellation sounds amazing too with Magical, amazing. My wife's favorite speaker, um, you know, as far as me, I damn, that's a tough one. I have to ask her, but if I want to say what she likes, it's either Focal or probably. I think she likes Magical. I think she likes Magical and Focal. I think that's what she likes. Yeah, I think so. She loves the Magical look. I tell you that the M series look. She loves the way the M series looks. I have never tried Cardus. I haven't really tried any other outlets other than Shunyata and Furatech. Maybe I will. Maybe it's time that I do some research and try different outlets. Thank you, Sid. I appreciate, man. Thank you the support. Thank you for the support and everybody, helping me out to grow my channel and to continue to be there for me. CH Precision is a brand, guys, that I haven't really tried because the stars have not aligned. If you must know, CH Precision is very, very good brand. I mean, I can't say anything negative about it because I haven't really owned it, but I've heard it. And it's definitely at the elite, with the elite group, with the Boulders of the world. It's definitely up there with the Griffins of the world. I just haven't had a chance. I could buy a CH10 series amplifier and preamplifier, but every time I'm thinking about it, something else happens. Another speaker, another amplifier shows up. Something else knocks at my door that makes me lose that train of thought and stops me from buying CH Precision. But I hear great things about CH Precision. I really do. I just haven't gotten around to it. I have never had the AccuFace E213. The only thing I've had from AccuFace is the E800 integrated, and I thought that was really, really lackluster, especially when you consider the price point. Not great. One thing I wanted to say to you all guys right now is, this integrated from Boulder, the I don't know if you guys can see it. Okay, you see the integrated right there? You guys can see it, right? That Boulder E800. I mean E800. Damn it. That's the Boulder 866. One thing I can tell you, one thing I can tell you about that, guys, okay, That integrated, believe it or not, I wasn't looking for it, right? So that came to me. It's mine. You know what happened with that integrated? You're gonna laugh. That integrated has completely changed my perception of what an integrated is all about. It actually has opened up my eyes at the fact that an integrated, a quality integrated, can really make you question whether you should spend more money or not in other things, meaning separates. If you should spend money on a separate amp and preamplifier, which brings me to my next point. I am seriously contemplating the purchase of a world class integrated. And the one that comes to mind right now is the VAC 452 IQ integrated, I think it's called. It's a lot of money, it's $150,000. But guys, I just feel right now that the a real integrated, a quality integrated, will give you so much performance, assuming that it is a great integrated, so much performance that it will make you really question if going separates is even worth it. I'm telling you, that baby integrated has shown me things that I just cannot believe. Let me explain what I mean. Number one, you only need one power cord. Number two, this one has a DAC, so I don't need interconnects to connect my DAC into that. Number three, you need one stand, one nice quality stand. You put that under, you put that on top of one stand, and you have isolated essentially the preamp, the amp, and the DAC. So I was listening to it the other day, and I'm like, why would anyone need anything else? I'm telling you, if I were to retire right now, I'll grab that Boulder 866 with the built-in deck in my Sashas and call it a day. I told my members on my website the other day, why would I need anything else? I love what I hear through that. I love it. I mean, is it at the level of what I have? No. But when I hear it, I realize this is where satisfaction begins. And to me, that's the entry, that combination. And I'm just giving you as an example the fact that I feel an integrated is really, really like today, they're getting so much better than before that they will make you question whether you should be spending more money on multiple chassis, multiple power cords, plus interconnects, plus multiple shelves and stands. I just feel like, man, I'm in love when I hear that thing. I really am. So I'm thinking about buying an ultra high end integrated in the future and then do a real comparison between an integrated, an expensive integrated, and separates. So maybe, and I'm thinking just last night, I was just thinking about maybe that VAC integrated that they sell, the one that's vertical, that's beautiful. It's about 200 watts per channel. And I'm really thinking about that integrated right now. I really want to try that integrated in my system. Yeah, so the reason why I feel that way is the synergy. And I spoke to an a reviewer who is a very well-known reviewer about this crazy thing that I'm hearing, and he said the same thing. He said, "Look, short path, there is no wires connecting the DAC into the preamplifier into the amplifier, and you're hearing the device essentially completely isolated while when you put it on top of the stand." So he's like, it doesn't shock me how amazing it can be, an integrated can be. And that's really what I'm finding out right now, guys, is a real quality integrated can make you, assuming that you put the right power cord in a proper stand, can really make you question whether you should spend more money. I still cannot believe I'm telling you guys this, but I'm telling you right now, that integrated, that Boulder 866 there, it's making me think other things right now. The AudioNet Humboldt could be something too, as well. See, I've heard of that brand Area Surat. I just haven't really listened to it privately, so I can't really give an opinion about it. It could be good. I can't say yes or no. I have my turntable stand is a um it's a Artisania audio stand which I represent and I'm a dealer for. The AudioNet Humboldt integrated could definitely be something I might want to try at some point. No doubt. No doubt. But I also want to try like a tube integrated, like this VAC 452 IQ integrated. I know it's a lot of money, it's $150,000, but I just feel like, you know, man, it's got to be special, man. That integrated. That's all I'm going to say. I am really, really curious about it. I really would love to try it. I have never considered Jadis, to be honest with you. No, never. But I have heard a lot about Jadis integrateds and the Jadis brand itself. Am I going to explore Class D amplifiers? Maybe in the future. I think I will. For now, I don't plan to because of what I have coming up soon in about 6 weeks. But I think Class D is definitely making a strong case now. It is getting closer and closer and closer, and Class D is definitely making a push. And I think it'll be a matter of time before we start seeing a lot more Class D, more amplifiers being built around Class D, and even brands that have never done Class D before that have only done Class A, for instance, such as Griffin. Like, it wouldn't shock me if one day in 5 years we see a Griffin Class D amplifier. It wouldn't shock me. It really wouldn't, because I think that's where we're all going to be headed, or even a Boulder Class D amplifier. It wouldn't shock me. It's inevitable. That's where we're going to be headed over time. Jeff Rowland integrated will be great too. That Jeff Rowland integrated, the big boy integrated with like 1,000 watts. I think that could be a great integrated to try. I agree with that. So there are many options when it comes to integrated amplifiers for me. Many options, guys. Absolutely something that I need to really investigate further. But I could tell you the integrated conversation is on my mind, and I would love to try a world class integrated to see what it can do against separates. I mean, how cool would it be? My only concern with integrated, and I'll be honest, is if I ended up with an really extremely difficult speaker to drive, how good is it going to be with a massive speaker? For instance, can an integrated drive a Magical M6? Can it drive a Wilson, Alex, or an XVX, or a Rockport Lyra? That's my only concern with integrateds, right? I always wonder how they do with speakers of that caliber. CH Precision, I already talked about. Great brand. And I think CH is definitely on my radar right now. I don't know when it will happen, but I think CH will be that something that will happen in a matter of time, guys. It just bound to happen. Same thing with Darzeel. Unfortunately, Darzeel is extremely protected here in the United States, and it's very hard to get your hands on Darzeel product, unfortunately. And it's very expensive product. Incredibly, like, just way too much money. Interesting. I like that feedback about AudioNet integrated versus CH position. Avalon speakers. I've heard about Avalon. I really don't have any interest, to be honest, but I'm not saying they're no good. I just feel like Avalon speakers is talked about a lot, but I haven't been approached by them, or really enticed to buy that particular brand, speaker brand. No, thank you for being here, guys. Everyone, thank you for being, all of you guys being here in a Sunday afternoon here, at least where I am, Sunday afternoon. But there are more ideas in the lab, more things. I think the integrated conversation just entered my head, and I think I will be doing in the future some serious integrated shootouts comparisons against separates. I think it's bound to happen, especially me, because I don't have a huge room and I would love to have an integrated in the middle, remove the rest of the components, and just have one single integrated that just blows away everything I've had and not have to look back. Man, I would love to do that. I really would love to have that. Yeah, I agree. I'm telling you, guys, I am telling you right now, and you're hearing it from me. I'm telling you right now, integrated are really making me question my current situation with my electronics. It is really doing those things to me, and again, like, I don't know why, but it's just that baby 866 integrated behind me has completely given me a whole entire idea in my head and make me question, Jay, you should really look into us integrated with the amount of equipment that you have in isolation devices and everything else that you can plug us into. I think you might be shocked at how good integrated unintegrated can be here. And I think that's what I'm going to do soon, guys. I just need to really figure out what that looks like, which brand I should go after, which integrated is getting the best press, and hopefully I can reason with myself to spend the money, because something else you guys may not know is, folks, if I buy an integrated that's $150,000 or 100 grand, I got news for you. That's a tough market. When I'm done with that, good luck trying to sell an integrated of that price point. Good luck. Good luck trying to sell one chassis for that kind of money. Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate it. Maybe one day I'll listen to the 451 monos from Macintosh. No reason not to. Yeah, I agree, Rogero. I mean, letting go of the 3050s for an integrated, man, that would be a difficult thing, man. My 3050s they're tanks, man. Look at them. 3050s are right there, just, breathing, breathing. And I agree with you. I think the integrated, you know, I don't know if I can ever replace the 3050s, but like anything else, everything has an expiration date in my lab, guys, and at some point everything will have to be sold. I had thought about title speakers. I have done that. And unfortunately, you know what? I just never really continue to follow up with that conversation, because every time I think about a foreign speaker, boom, another domestic brand shows up that makes sense for me at this particular time, and I end up going with another domestic brand. That's the reality. But I know Title builds amazing speakers, amazing speakers. My acoustic room treatment is essentially a lot of acoustic. And I already have a 3D image of my room with treatments from Vicoustics. So my room will probably enter a new transformation with a lot of acoustic treatments all over the room, on the side walls, the ceiling. I think that's going to happen hopefully this year. But I plan to dress up my room to a whole new level with a brand new design that Vicoustics sent me, so that I can go ahead and essentially do what's right for my room. Who is so let's see. Yeah, more diffusion, more, it's just everything. But this speaker that you know that you see here, the Sasha here. Okay, see the Sasha here? So the Sasha DAW, okay, which is for sale, by the way, sounds phenomenal in my room. It really does. It sounds really good. It sounds really, really amazing. I'm gonna be putting a couple of videos with the Sasha DAW and my Boulder stuffs. I don't think it's ever been done before, and I think a lot of you guys would enjoy that presentation. Um, I also have the Magic Wave 5s in here, by the way. DCS DAC. My thoughts on DCS DAC. I hear great things about the Apex. I hear they have really corrected a lot of the issues from their previous generation. If you're asking me what issues are you referring to in the past, one of the things that I've always said about DCS is that it is unfortunately very digital sounding, very clear, lots of resolution, lots of detail. But DCS, in my opinion, at least the previous generation, not the Apex, but the previous generation, has been very digital sounding. You can never get rid of the feeling that you're listening to a digital with DCS. I was told the new Apex has changed all of that. Well, I can tell you that DCS has already released the new DCS Bartok Apex. I would love to try DCS Apex. whichever model I can get my hands on, and review it. It's been a long time since I've had DCS in my channel. Now, MSB and DCS are very different brands, guys. You got to remember, okay? DCS and MSB are great, arguably the top two brands when it comes to digital. Of course, Wadex has something to say about that too. But I think that also brings up another interesting point, which is spending $250,000 on a Wadex or any other brand to me is just, I don't know if that's a smart move. However, I am not critical of those people who want to spend $250,000 on a DAC because at the end of the day, if they have the pockets, why the hell not, right? I'm nobody to tell anybody how to spend their money. My only problem with spending $250,000 with on a digital product is the fact that it will be obsolete in a matter of time, and then you're left hanging dry, and then you just basically threw your money away, like a cell phone. You buy an Apple phone right now, 6 months later, it's worth nothing. I think that's the issue a lot of times with DAX. Okay. So you have to keep that in mind because the technology moves rapidly. I feel like spending $250,000 on any digital product is not a smart move. Do I listen to my speakers with covers on? I do not listen to any speaker with covers on. The reason why I have the Wilsons with covers is because I have a 6-year-old and I do not want her to enter the room and poke a tweeter. But when I listen critically, no, I take the covers off and I listen without the covers. I will say to anyone here listening, okay, do not listen to speakers with grills on. Okay, don't leave your grills on when you listen critically. Now, if it's background music and you have guests over, sure, leave the grills on. But a real audiophile does not listen to speakers with grills on. Okay, take me from me. Don't put your grills on if you're doing critical listening sessions. The DAC conversation has always been an interesting one for me because I feel like DACs are more similar than not, if that makes sense. However, I think that one of the biggest problems that we have as audiophiles and with regards to this DAC conversation is the fact that we talk about DACs and we immediately create a parallel with streaming. What happens is DAC is not just streaming. That could be local files. That can be a CD player, right? You can feed it AES into the back of a DAC and play CDs. And I think the problem is that we always associate a DAC with streaming title and Cobus. That's the problem, right? And the truth is that's the wrong way of thinking about a DAC. I think a DAC is more than that. The convenience factor is huge for a lot of people. Okay. But I am not going to sit here and tell you that I don't find vinyl more engaging. If you are a digital guy listening to this, take it from me. I was born around digital and I've done digital 90 to 95% of my entire life on this earth. And I'm telling you right now, I am new to vinyl. I am new to a turntable. And the enjoyment factor of a turntable is quite different than digital. Very difficult to compare. Now, I'm not here to tell you that I'm not going to lie to your face and tell you that vinyl wins every time. That is a lie. There are records in which I think they are too close to really choose one over the other. And even sometimes there are some digital records that may edge out the vinyl copy when it comes to the clarity part. Okay. So it's not always a win for vinyl. Okay. It's not always a win for vinyl. Remember that. But I would say the enjoyment and the emotion and the connection, the engagement factor is way higher with a turntable than it is with a DAC. Again, I don't have a horse in this race. I don't care which is better than which one because at the end of the day, I own two of the greatest brands when it comes to DACs or turntables. So to me, it makes no difference. What I'm saying here, I'm speaking from the heart. Okay. I feel like a or a great turntable, just a great turntable in general, has a place in our systems if we have the time to buy records and play records. Okay. You could not compare both sources. Yes, they both deliver music. Yes, they both, their job is to, you know, make us listen to music. But the truth is, the way they deliver the message is quite different. It's not the same. Okay, a DAC will always have the opportunity, the upper hand when it comes to flexibility, when it comes to the ability to play any amount of music you want 24/7 and leave music streaming in the background for your system to break in, for guests, or just a playlist. That's something you cannot do with a turntable. However, when it's time to listen to music for real and you want to enjoy the presentation, I just feel like the representation of the performance that vinyl gives you, to me, is more engaging than digital. To me, that even that noise, that harmonic noise that I hear through the speakers, the hissing sound, to me is actually attractive, believe it or not. Even an occasional slight pop here and there, occasional, folks, it is attractive, believe it or not, because that lets you know you're hearing a record, that lets you know you're hearing vinyl. And to me, it takes you to a whole new place. Okay, so no, my speakers do not vibrate the my speakers vibrate the room if I blast them hard, but no, my speakers are isolated on stands, on spikes. So, but yeah, but they will. But my entire system is isolated. So even if the room shakes, it doesn't matter because all my components are essentially isolated, right, on stands. So it doesn't affect my components. The right number for a DAC is it 10, 20, 30, $50,000. Listen, I don't want to go out there and I don't want to tell you it's 50 grand, 60 grand, 100 grand. Okay. Because I think we all have a budget to work with. But what I can say about a DAC is, in my opinion, there are only a handful of DACs, handful of brand names that really know what they're doing. Okay. And I am not going to give credit to a lot of them, but I can tell you that, the MSBs, the DCSs of the world, Lamp and Seder too, are DACs that they know what they're doing. Okay. I feel solid putting my money into those three brands if I want to embark on buying a DAC for my system. As far as price point, it depends. I mean, if obviously the more expensive, the more upper end the model is, the better your system will sound. So yes, if you have a $10,000 DAC and you compare it against a $50,000 DAC, of course, assuming that both of them are quality brands, yes, the $50,000 DAC will take your system, or should take your system, to a whole new level. Now, is it 5 times better? No, it's not 5 times better. It will never be. Okay, the added money, the additional funds, the added expense is not a direct um, translation of how many more times the performance is improved. So if something is 50 grand or 10 grand, that $50,000 component is not 5 times better than the $10,000 component. However, DACs are very similar. What I think I struggle with when it comes to DACs is the feeling that I'm listening to digital. Okay, that is one thing. The feeling that I'm being somewhat analytical, the feeling that I'm actually dissecting the presentation rather than enjoying it and sitting down in front of the stereo and letting the stereo decompress me and take me away from my everyday stress. I think that's the biggest problem that I have. Sometimes a DAC will allow me to listen to various songs, but the problem is I never finish the song because I'm pushing next and next and next and next. And then I realize, well, you're not listening to music, you're just changing tracks all day, Jay. That's all you're doing. With vinyl, I listen to the whole thing. And that's what I like about vinyl. I am using the Orender N30. Yes, I am. Nice, 7,000 records. Will I use the MSB director? Yeah, I plan to talk to Vince over at MSB and see if he can send me one director for me to evaluate. Yes, I have gotten great feedback about the director. I have heard it's completely transformed systems. I know Suncoast Audio has theirs, and they're going to showcase it at the show next week. But I can tell you that the digital director, based on feedback that I have received from several people who own it right now, which are not many people, I have been told that it is an amazing, amazing, amazing piece. It has completely changed their systems to a whole new level. Is it worth $30,000? That's a question that only you guys can answer, right? I can't answer for you guys. But eventually, I plan to hopefully bring it once the hype kind of like levels a little bit and there's more availability. I plan to bring the director here. What power cable brands have you found works well with our render MSB? I personally like my authentic audio image. Period. I have different brands right now in here. I have Nordost in here. I have transparent Opus in here. I have Shunyata here, and Audio Quest Dragon. And I still prefer my cable brand. I still do. I still prefer authentic audio image. And you guys are about to hear for the first time a Wilson speaker with my cable line. I've already done that with Magical. You've heard Magical with my cable line. You all loved about, you love the sound. And now you're going to hear a Wilson audio speaker, and I'm going to demonstrate the same thing with a full loom of my cable line. You guys will see. The proof is in the pudding. You'll see. You'll hear it soon. Yes, they do make USB and Ethernet cables. Correct. They do make AES, XLRs, RCAs, footers, and jumpers. All of that. My cable line has all of that. All of that. And it's not outrageously priced, guys. I keep saying it. Guys, I folks, I live with this stuff. I don't have to lie. I have transparent cables in the corner. Look, check this out. I'm not gonna even lie. Look, look, transparent Opus. Look, Anzu's cables. Look, Nordost. Guys, I live with this stuff. I'm telling you. Okay, my cable line is better than any of these. My opinion, and less money on top of that. There you go. These things are laying in the corner. These cables, they're in the corner collecting dust. I should actually list them and get rid of them, but I just never have time. My price sheet, I can email it to you. If anyone is interested on my cable line, in my cable line, email me and I'll send you the price sheets. Okay, reasonable prices. I'm telling you, reasonable prices. You guys think I'm kidding? I'm not. I'm telling you, I have all this stuff in here all the time. I just was tired of spending 10 G's on a power cord and 40,000 on speaker cables or 30 grand. I was done with that. I didn't want to do that no more. I was done with it. And I was out there looking for a cable brand that gave me at least 90% of the performance of the big brands. And I have found it. So if you're interested on authentic audio image, email me. I promise you, you're not going to be disappointed. Trust me. I just showed you the cables brands that I have here on my floor. You know, look here, look. What's this? Look, $40,000 speaker cable, 40 grand. Okay, there. You believe me now? Unplugged, not even being used. I keep telling you. There you go. I mean, proof is in the pudding. Sitting in the sidelines collecting dust. $40,000 speaker cable. I mean, why would I spend more money and have a $40,000 speaker cable sitting on the sidelines? Ask yourselves that question. If my cables were not that good, why would I do that? Give me give me an explanation why I would do that. There is, unfortunately, guys, with cables, I don't have any in-home trials, guys, because they have to be custom order. Okay, so I don't have that. It has to be ordered and brought in, unfortunately, guys. But it would be no difference than if you call your local dealer and order a Shunyata cable. What do? If you call your local dealer and want to order AudioQuest Dragon, what do? You have to buy it and play it and try it. I mean, that's just how it is. I mean, guys, so I am doing nothing different than what they are doing. What's so special about my brand AAI is the fact that the cable line does absolutely everything I want from a cable. Number one, it gives me musicality. Number two, it's a very complete, coherent cable. The bass is not boomy. The mid range are not in your face. The high frequencies do not destroy your hearing, giving you ear ringing after you listen for 10, 15 minutes. We all know some brands who do that. And the cable is trying to just give you the performance with musicality and expression without really forcing information down your throat. Some of these cable brands force information down your throat, and people don't understand that those are short lived listening sessions. That never leads to long listening sessions. When you listen to a cable, word of advice, the best way to listen to it is, first of all, introducing it into your system and letting the cable settle in. That means give it a day or two, play music for a day or two before you listen to it critically, right? Secondly, hopefully you have a cable loop. But if you don't, be mindful of the fact that you may have opposite sources working against each other. Okay. So what the does is essentially, usually these cables that give you a lot of information and sheer just in your face, that just wows you for 10, 20 minutes. After that, you're turning the volume down. If I am going to only have short-lived listening sessions, I don't want that cable. I don't need it. That's all I'm saying. I do not need it. So keep that in mind. Okay, when you select the cable, the goal is to have a cable that is musical, pleasure to listen to. The information and detail is there, but it's not in your face and aggressive. It's actually delicate and seductive. That is what you look for in a cable. And I think that is what I have with my cable line. Seriously speaking, I love what I hear. The clarity is there, magical sounds, phenomenal. You guys have heard the magical A5s in my S7s with this cable line. The results are online. You guys have given me great feedback. And now you're going to hear Wilson Audio. I'll try a different speaker now with my cable line, and you'll get another reference point. I agree with that. A lot of cables, Kevin, are out there. Snake oil, $40,000. Listen, none of the cables that I represent, none, not a single cable is above MSRP $6,000. Think about that. For a 2 meter run, there is no cable in my line that is above 6 grand MSRP. Now, some of you guys are going to say, oh my God, that's a lot of money. No, it's not. I just showed you a $40,000 cable. It's not, believe me. If you've been doing this at a high level for a long time, you would realize $6,000 in the world we live in with this type of stuff is nothing. You guys know what I'm saying. And so that's what I wanted. I wanted a cable that can perform for a relatively affordable price. And so this nailed it for me. No cable here is over 6 grand, unless, of course, you want a 30-foot run. That's a different story, right? But for a 2 meter run, nothing here is over 6K. Nothing. And I'm telling you, I just showed it to you. I put my money where my mouth is. I just literally dug out a $40,000 cable in 5 different Powercords, different brands. I don't know how, what else I have to do for you guys to believe what I'm saying here. Yeah, there are a lot of snake oil cables. There's no doubt there's a lot of snake oil out there. Absolutely. There is no doubt in my mind that there is a lot of snake oil out there. Who is going to the show next week in here? By a show of hands. Who's going to the Florida Audio Show next week? This Friday coming up in 5 days from now. Is anyone coming out to the show? If you guys want to come out and you're going to meet me, if you want to meet me, I'll answer a lot of questions in person about your personal system, about your particular needs. Okay. So you'll get that from me on Friday and Saturday. And if some of you all are interested in perhaps joining me for dinner with a couple of other members from my website, jayaudiolab.com, I would definitely tell you, shoot me an email. That way you guys can be part of the, dinner, going out to dinner. I'd love to have a big group and we can talk audio Saturday night. Okay. Just in case you're going and you want to join us for dinner, let me know. Shoot me an email. I am planning to try more European brands. The issue is that sometimes these brands are not necessarily well known here. And so that presents a problem for me to sell the product once I'm done with it. I can't keep everything forever, so that's the problem. And that's kind of like the factor that I always have to think about when I bring other brands from outside the United States. Any other questions from you guys before we wrap things up? Anything else that you may want to know before I start my other job out of many jobs that I do? Anything else, folks? If not, then we are going to wrap things up today. And let's see. I agree with that. Yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you for your time, for your support. I hope to see you guys next week at the Florida Audio Show. Whoever's going, please be sure to say hello to me. Introduce yourself. I don't bite. And if you are interested in my cable line authentic audio image, visit my website, jayaudiolab.com. Shoot me an email. I can give you the price list. Okay. Amazing cables. And of course, stay tuned because the end of March, in about 6 weeks, I will unveil the largest and most expensive component in the history of my lab. Thank you for your time. Stay tuned for more. Peace.